I got told no about a brand deal this morning. Let me tell you exactly what happened, why it's not the worst thing in the world, and what I could be doing if I still wanted to do it. And while we're doing that, we're gonna get ready. So I recently adopted 2 puppies, and we started looking for a new vet because our old one, not good. And so I found a new vet. We've been going to them. We're happy with them right now. And I realized their social media is pretty rough. They post about once or twice a week. It really is the equivalent of a puppy came to visit us. We did something this week. It's like the old school newsletters our moms used to send out at Christmas time saying, here's what our family did over the year, without being relational or conversational or adding benefit to the audience in any way, and certainly not in a way that could monetize outside of their existing client base. So I reached out to them. I said, I do all of this stuff. I help entrepreneurs with all these things. I can help you. Here's how, some of the ways I can help you. I would love to have a discussion about this to see if it's a good fit for you. And I had talked to my vet, who was an associate vet, who said to write in. So I did. And they immediately came back with, we're not interested. And here's the thing. There will be people that you are reaching out to for brand deals that are very short-sighted. They would rather have the $800 for whatever than to have thousands reoccurring every month inside of their business, which is something I help my students with. They're very much the here and now as opposed to the future. They're not very forward-thinking, and that's okay. That's not a bad thing. First off, if somebody is not forward-thinking in that way, that's not a client I want, because they're not going to be open and receptive to actually trying new things or to taking new risks or to doing any of the advice that I give them. They're going to want the old school version. It is very much a more traditional mindset. So that, for me, probably not somebody I want to work with. Now, this doesn't hurt me because I knew I was adopting these puppies. I had planned for this. I have that money set aside, ready to go for all of these things. I don't need that in order to survive. But I kind of wanted it because it would be nice to have that extra money that I could then use for other things. My one dog is exceptionally smart, so I've been buying her all these puzzle toys. I could put that toward some of her training things, some of the things we're doing to exercise her mind. I could buy more tech. I could invest it in my business. I could do a lot of things with that money if I had that, but that's not a huge part of it. I did know that they needed serious help with their social media. They were not doing great with it. Would have been very easy for me to show them. I also offered opportunities to show their employees how to build their own brands as well so that they could be making additional money with their pets outside of what they were doing at their 9-to-5. And it was a hard no for them. They did not even want to discuss it. They did not want to hear any details. It was pass. So for me, getting a no just meant I was going to proceed with my life as it was. It's not changing my life in any way, shape, or form. It is not hindering me. It is not causing me any problems. And so it's pretty easy for me to have invited that question or invited that conversation. I asked a question, I got told no. Door was literally slammed in my face. It wasn't even a, thanks so much for offering. It's a, no. And so what's the worst? What is the worst? They know that I'm a superstar now, and they're going to maybe look at me when I walk into their shop. What is that going to change? Literally nothing. They all knew I was an influencer anyway, or at least the people that I see on a day-to-day basis when I do go in with my puppies, they already know that I do all this stuff and they're pretty impressed by it. So that doesn't change my relationship with them in any way. I offered them something, they said no, we move forward with it. If, however, it was something that I really wanted or something that I really needed to be saving money on or to exchange, what I could do is actually look for another place to work with. And I'm using this in terms of a veterinary clinic. I could go find another one. Now, are there great ones around here? No, there's not. Is there a lot of opportunity for that? No, there's not, but that's okay. That's another conversation. I could be looking for another one to work with. And I could go to like the Humane Society. I could go to some other places that are not necessarily vets where I would be switching vets, but there are other options. If, however, I were talking about a different kind of business, which is what I usually work with when I'm trading things, it's usually more in my businessy space and less in the functional personal space. And so if I were, let's say I was working with a tech company and I wanted to trade my services for their software. If they said no, I could go look at one of their competitors, and that is something I would strongly do. In fact, if this were anything other than a functional, local-based business, I would probably go elsewhere. I wouldn't waste my time. Now, I could if they had a superior program or product is the word I was looking for. If they have a product that is superior, sure, I might pay for it, but I really like my product service swaps. We just did a video on this. If you guys have not seen it, go watch it. It's a really good one. But that gives me the opportunity to then go to their competitors And I don't have to say, well, this company turned me down. I can just say, hey, listen, I see that you do this, I do this. When you think about doing something like this, if you keep knocking on doors, somebody's going to answer and let you in. It's a really good opportunity for you to practice your negotiating skills, to talk about how you can be offering other people things. And it really helps you hone in your message too, so that when you are speaking to your clients, the people who are paying you, you know better what to say about this. So it's not a terrible thing that this company told me no. Would that have been helpful to me? Yes. Would it have been way more helpful to them? Yes, it would. But it tells me a lot about where they are at, what they're doing, how they're doing it. And that also gives me a pretty good idea of how it's going to function for me to work with them. So that tells me, are they a little bit more traditional in how they're going to be interacting with my dogs? Yes. Does it mean they're going to not necessarily be as forward-thinking as some other places? Yes. Is that okay with me? That helps me to make a decision. Now, going back to the social media conversation, you can help people. You can give them all of the opportunities out there in the world, but you cannot force them to take it or to see things in the way that you see them. We can't make people be forward thinking. It's a sad reality, but it is the way it is. So here's what I did. Here's why I'm not really responding to it. So I messaged them. I said, I'm a new client of yours. I'm doing all of these things. Here's my credentials, and here's what I would like to do with you to make it easy for you and to make it easy for me. It's a win-win situation. I do this with a lot of people. Again, credentials where I've been working with people. Easy stuff. And I could have gone in and said, well, hey, here's the plan that I see for you. Here's what I would like to do for you, and be more specific and talk about how I could help them to monetize outside of their client base if they're not looking to get new clients, which I think is really the issue. They don't have the capacity for more clients because they are such a small clinic and they only have 2 vets, and it's not something where they can do a lot of different things. So I don't think they can take on anything else. I think they're kind of at capacity. So if I had maybe talked about how you can be easily making money on what you're already doing with an audience that is not going to be in your offices every day, maybe they would have taken me up on that. But I'm not following up on this. They hard passed. They didn't want any conversation. They didn't want to consider anything in the future. Hard pass. They said, we are happy with what we've got. Done. And so I'm not going to be responding back to them. I may send a, no problem, if you change your mind in the future, go ahead and think of me. But chances are I probably won't even bother with that because it was a hard no. And so with that in mind, I could have, if it was somebody else, if it was open to conversation and things that we were doing, I could potentially have reached back out and say, okay, well, if you're not looking to get new clients right now, I can show you how to monetize, but I'm not convincing anybody of anything. If they're a hard no, if they don't want something, if they don't see the opportunities, I'm not going to push it. My time is better spent elsewhere. I would just be talking to a closed door, and we're not going to do that. So with that in mind, I am not going to be reaching back out to them. I am just going to decide what I'm going to do for my puppies. I like the vet that we're with right now, so we're just going to move forward with that. If it were another program or if it was another product or another company, I would probably be reaching out to competitors right now to see what I can do, because we want to make sure we're pulling all of those things in and giving those opportunities for ourselves. And it really depends on what you want to do. Don't argue with people. You cannot convince people with something if they are not open to receiving it. If you are not the right fit for them, that's fine. Go look somewhere else. You want to be looking for those forward-thinking people who are open to opportunities and open to conversation. Now, if you want more information on how I email people to pitch brand deals, to pitch collaborations, to pitch trades like this, go ahead and let me know. We can do upcoming videos on that. We're just about done with my hair here, so I am going to go finish up, and I'm going to take my puppies for a walk. But drop the questions down below and stay tuned, because every single day we are giving you videos to help you navigate the world of social media, so you know exactly what to do on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, live streaming, Lemon 8, so that you can make more money online, spend less time doing it, unlike some of the people who turn us down for working with me. I'll see you in the next episode.